Hello, this is Alberta Briggs and Moore, and I'm with the Community Response System of South LA, and this is CRSSLA Community Chats. Today, we have Micheal Browning, and I will allow him to introduce himself.
Good morning, afternoon. Good to be here with you, Alberta. Micheal Browning with People Coordinated Services of Southern California Incorporated, which provides substance abuse prevention and treatment in the South Los Angeles area. And very excited to be here today with you.
And what we're doing is, in our general meetings, we generally don't have the space to have individual conversations. And it's important that we connect and converse regarding what's going on in our community and what's really important in the community. So I'm really excited to be able to talk to you. Right now in the community, we're looking at a reopening
Mm-hmm.
of the
Mm-hmm.
state. And what that means is more of the facilities will be opening, increase occupancy, uh, the mask mandates will be changing. And so that's going to mean a lot of changes to the Black community in Los Angeles. Micheal, what do you think about that?
Well, personally, I just feel it's too early for a full reopening without mask and so forth. And I know that folks are going to have some options around requiring masks and things in certain settings. But I do feel that there's many folks who still haven't gotten their vaccinations or are taking the right precautions. And so I'm really leery about it. We try to trust those who make these important decisions, and I'm praying for the best. But I do think that we're going to have a lingering caseload of both cases for COVID and deaths and hospitalizations because of the fact of the reopening. And some folks who have not been vaccinated, you just, can't rely on them to tell you whether or not they're vaccinated or not. So I think it presents many challenges.
I know as a group, uh, CRSSLA has been on the forefront pushing for testing and vaccination. Recently, you were working on a project encouraging African American men to get vaccinated because they were kind of lagging behind on the vaccination rate. Uh, how is that going?
Well, we're still last, rock bottom in both the entire Black community on getting vaccinations. We're the only population, ethnic or racial population, under 50%. And we're at 42%, and other groups of folks are above 50%. So we are lagging. So that's a big concern. And we understand that people need to make the best health decisions for themselves. But what we don't want to see is that after they declare the pandemic over and everything is completely open and they think back to normal, that we will have lingering caseloads and deaths amongst the Black population for years to come. So I'm really, really concerned about that. And the outreach to men is very important, but it's also important that the women get the information because, of course, women make most of the health decisions in a family, and so they can help men in their lives make a decision about getting the vaccination and educating them on the options available to them. But it's still concerning that we're lagging behind and that we're, like most health disparities, are at the rock bottom.
We're definitely saying we're not there yet. We are not at herd immunity. Schools are opening up soon, which is a major concern for me. I'm co-chair of the education committee with Naomi, who of the Wooten Center, and we are excited about students getting back to school.
Mm-hmm.
However, we need to push the getting as many people vaccinated as possible. because we've seen that young people can be vectors of transmission. So taking virus back home to elderly relatives, that was a problem earlier. So that is an ongoing concern for us. And we're still saying we're not there yet. Kids are ready to get out, be around everyone. We are approaching graduation season, family reunion season, 4th of July. Is there a message that we need to present with these openings?
There is, and there are. So there's several types of messages that need to be out there. First of all, parents need to make sure that their children are safe. When the schools reopen here in Los Angeles, not many parents chose to send their students back and their children back to school. And so although the vaccinations are available at school sites, we just have no information yet, no data yet on how many students are being vaccinated and whether or not parents are participating in that program. I know nationally, we have some information about, young people getting vaccinated and that parents do want their children to be safe. And so the first thing is to make sure children and young people still wear their mask, still wash their hands, and still use sanitizer and social distancing as much as possible until the parents feel that they are safe. The second thing is around making sure that, they're not in enclosed spaces at kickbacks parties, because that's beginning. Folks, like you said, they've been stuck in the home for over a year. It's prom season, graduation season. So there's lots of parties and things that are being planned now. And so it's going to be real important that we make sure that our young people have accurate information, first of all, about staying safe at those events. If they choose to do it. And hopefully those events are going to be outside and not inside. And that there's also some other consequences for young people attending parties and what might be available to them. Now, you may have heard it, Alberta, like I have. Many adults are planning parties. There's family reunions. There's other type of activities that folks want to get back together. Churches are opening back up, which means that, they're going to be having dinners and things and all those things so that people can reacquaint themselves and get back together. But in the community, there's going to be lots of parties, and we know it. And so we want parents, first of all, to know that it's important that they not make alcohol or marijuana available to young people when these parties happen. And that, so making it less available, making it less attractive, if every adult is walking around with a cocktail, young folks are going to want one too. And so you want to make sure that you have something available for young people if you are hosting parties. And we also want to make sure that in the communities that liquor stores and other places where alcohol is available, that kids can't have access to it. And make sure that it's less acceptable in your settings, and monitor your alcohol if it's going to be in your home at a party. But the important thing is you probably were not quite ready for, indoor parties. So, parents need to be cautious about that and make sure that no one's bringing marijuana and alcohol around their children, because many children want to experiment and young people want to experiment. And that's where it typically starts, is trying something, experimenting. And the next thing you know, these young people are hooked. So as things reopen, we're just asking parents to make sure that their children stay safe.
Absolutely. And the other night, I was driving down Crenshaw and I saw a bar that had open, and it's like an open air bar. And a quick glance in, it was packed.
Yes.
I'm driving, so I couldn't tell if everybody had their mask. But people are out and about,
Yes.
congregating. So it's important for us to still follow safety protocol.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so, everyone makes their own personal choices about that. And I know for me, I'm not ready to go into any enclosed space, mask or not. And that's my own personal choice. And so I think that parents need to talk to their young people and children about these types of standards and rules that they're going to have in their homes. If you go to a friend's house, make sure you're outside when you're visiting, in the backyard, in the driveway, whatever, on the stoop. But make sure that children are safe. Also, you may want to have the child ask, some of these questions. Is it, are folks vaccinated in the home? Is it okay if I do go in and take off my mask that I know that people here are vaccinated? And so parents, it's important that you come up with your rules. Also, you want to make sure that if you do allow your young people, children to go hang out again and with their friends, that no alcohol, marijuana is available to them at that place. And you can check in with the other parents if they're going over to other parents' homes and so forth. But I think it's the best thing is to have rules in your home and standards, and expect that your child is going to abide by them.
Absolutely. And what my mother would always say, common sense is not common. We don't have to be mandated to do the right thing. There doesn't have to be a
Absolutely.
law to say, do the right thing, be concerned about the safety of yourself, the safety of your family, the safety of your community. And so we're asking everyone to be concerned about yourself and everyone you're around. Something that concerned us recently was the government
Mm-hmm.
had used as an incentive beer, offering beer
Mm-hmm.
to get
Mm-hmm.
vaccinated. And
Mm-hmm.
that was another example of, just because the government says it does not mean that it's the right thing to do.
And that is absolutely the wrong thing to do, is by offering an incentive like that when we know that the effects of alcohol on families and on individuals. And to offer that as an incentive, I thought was just one of the worst I've heard in public health. So, excuse me, mixing health and public health with actual drinking is something that any public health professional would say is a no-no. And so we're shocked about that. And so we're hoping that those in power, when they talk about these incentives, and we do, think incentives are important to get people, to make some right decisions, but that they don't include alcohol, guns, marijuana, tobacco as incentives to get folks to get vaccinations, because it then becomes unseemly. And then it becomes that, how can we trust someone who, would offer us something that they know can be a danger to me, to get a vaccination? Does that mean that the vaccination is dangerous too? I mean, it just sends the wrong message. And so we're hoping that the people in power can make the right decision, so that anybody is not tempted to go get a vaccination or re-get a vaccination, because once folks figure out certain things are available, they'll figure out a way to get another vaccination, just to get some of those incentives. So we're hoping that our people in power make the right decisions.
Absolutely. Well, it's been wonderful talking to you about this, and we'll get together and have some additional discussions.
Yes.
But right now, this is one of those hot topics in the community, and we want to do outreach. Um, we're definitely inviting the community to our community response system of South LA meetings. Um, Check with us on crss.org for additional information. Micheal, thank you so much for taking the time to be with me this morning, and keep us apprised of what's going on in the neighborhood.
Well, thank you for inviting me. And one final warning to parents is that it's illegal to make marijuana and alcohol available to young people. And you don't want to get involved with law enforcement because of something like that. So keep your family safe. We want you around. And so keep your families and yourselves safe so that we can be together again soon. And thank you, Alberta, and wishing you all down in South LA the best in what you're trying to do to keep our people alive and safe.
Thank you very much.